Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play ChäoS Head. In the last episode, Takumi was greeted by none other than Kozue Orihara, the transfer student who has recently joined Sume Academy. And by some mysterious means, he can actually talk inside his head and vice versa, apparently. A phenomena that probably extends to more than just Kozue and Takumi. But still haven't figured out the mystery of what exactly happened to the delinquent thugs that assaulted Takumi earlier. Though it's good that Kozue showed up when she did. But yeah, there's also the matter of Rimi Sakihata and her own conspicuous absence. Little does Takumi realize that she is fully aware of who the actual Shogun is, and that she has definitely been hiding a few things from him. Many things, in fact. Must have fallen out of favor with her after what happened at O-Front. For some reason, unbeknownst to Takumi, Rimi seems to think that Takumi himself is a threat to Shogun's existence. But there is still something that Shogun wants Takumi to fulfill.
崎畑さん、地震があったあの日、青い顔をして早退して行っちゃったのら。
And of course, Kozue is aware of all the various school activity things because, unlike Takumi and later Rimi, Kozue still goes to Sume Academy.
それ以来、学校来てないよ。
So she stopped coming after the earthquake.
もしかして、家族に何か悲しいことがあったかも。
That would be a normal response, however, that is not what has happened in this instance. I see. I felt delivered. Knowing that Rimi hadn't thrown me aside seriously made me seem about to cry. If only. If that were the case, I had a reason to attend school again. I wanted to see Rimi one more time. Until then, I tried my hardest and keep going to school.
気をつけてね。
Eh?
西条くんが崎畑さんと付き合ってるって思ってたから言わなかったけど崎畑さんには気をつけて。
Mispronounced her honorific there again, but yeah, Kozue has a warning about Rimi, because much like Takumi, Rimi herself probably isn't aware of Kozue's unique ability, the ability to read other people's thoughts. And so Rimi might not have been entirely as carefully guarded as she believed herself to be. Carefully guarded around Takumi, maybe, but against Kozue, that is another matter. What do you mean? Well, the fact that you called her a demon girl aside, you were probably right not to completely trust her. She may have been your ally up until a point.
崎畑さんはよくわかんないのら。
But even Kozue knows that something is amiss. I'm asking what you mean. You don't get her, you say. The staking. Or how I was missing my memories of being classmates with her since freshman year. There were definitely things about Rimi that remained mysterious even now. But she saved me countless times. When I was frightened, she told me I'd be there for you. She wasn't my enemy.
キ
For some reason, Kozubi's eyes were rolling in the back of her head. You're probably thinking a little too hard there, Takumi.
そんなに一度にいっぱい考えられるコズピーついていきにゃい
Sorry. It was sort of odd. When I was talking to people, I generally ended up saying less than 2% of the conversation. But when I spoke in my heart, I talked too much, or rather thought too much. And it was the same for Kozupi. I hadn't thought she'd be so talkative, in her head anyway.
喋ってるっていう感覚は薄いよ考えてるだけそれが流れ込むだけ相手にはビビーって相手からはドバーって慣れてないと自分の思考と相手の思考がごちゃごちゃってなってにゃーってなるの
She speaking Japanese or what? Although I sort of got the nuances of it. So there weren't any little subtleties like in regular conversations. Things like seeing the other person's expression or finding yourself unable to say what you wanted wouldn't happen. If people's thoughts kept leaking out, you'd lose the ability to read the atmosphere. True indeed. Neither one-way nor two-way transmission wasn't altogether unlike having to pick one flying arrow out of many and stop yourself from listening to the others.
だから気楽だし距離感も近いけど
Although of course if you get overwhelmed by the noise, it's an entirely different matter.
傷つくことも簡単なの
Yes, it is. For a second, Kozupi's face clouded over, but she soon put on a teary smile.
西条くんは初めてなのにすんごく上手だよ
No, at least she's happy again.
コズピーとビビビが合うの
Beep beep beeps. Was she trying to say that our wavelengths matched?
そう波長波長
It might have been because Serotan had the same kind of speech quirks.
あでもあの時の西条くんは怖かったのおぴー
Back then,
今日の朝教室で
now that she mentioned it, I'd fantasized about some really bad stuff, hadn't I? Yes, you did.
だからうひゃーって思ってつい声をかけちゃったのら
So that's why she approached Takumi. And come to think of it, that explains the words that she had said, well, thought, the moment that she met Takumi the first time around, that they were kind of similar.
本当はなるべくこの力を他の人に知られないようにしようって決めてたのに
And the fewer people, the better, I say. No, at the time, I hadn't given a damn about anything. Well, they were mere delusions to the end, I guess. It'd be normal to despise me for it.
きっとそれを本当にやってたらコズピーは西条くんを殺してたよ
That, actually comes off as a, mildly bit hypocritical there. Huh? She said something so disturbing with such innocence. The gap between the two made me shudder. We silently, albeit continuing to speak our minds, continued crossing through the shopping district and came out on Inokashira Avenue. By the way we walked wordlessly, without glancing at each other's faces, an observer might have perceived us as a charmingly naive young couple. That would very much be naive indeed. Next to me, Kozue caught an enormous breath. Eyes round, she looked up at me. Yeah, your errant thoughts are betraying you there. No, it was just an example. An example.
またふひゃーってさせられたなら西条くんにラブラブラブ告白されたかと。
He was simply commenting on other people's observations, Kozue. Need to be careful about that. Sorry. Yeah, it was pretty hard to cope with how things passed through her. When talking to Kozue, it would behoove me not to do my best not to wander into unnecessary daydreams.
聞きたいな。先週の西条くんがテレビに出てた時のこと。
Ah, you saw that. Of course you did. Probably not the best time to talk about that, though. She wouldn't believe me even if I told her.
それ決めつけ？うぐー。コズピーはあの時下にいたんだよ。
Wait, you were there? Below?
スクランブル交差点、ハチ公口の改札前、ちょうど通りかかって。あの時ずっと声聞こえてたよ。西条くんの声。ナナミさんを助けたい、助けなきゃって聞こえたよ。
My mental voice had traveled that far. There was an unexpectedly great distance between the front roof and the station turnstiles.
それだけあの時の西条くんの思いは強かったのら。
Perhaps too strong. Then Kozue would understand that I hadn't created such a ruckus with the intention of putting on a psychic performance. Yeah, that was Darth Spider, or the person disguised as Darth Spider disguised as Shogun.
だから価値はなくなくないよ。なく
Yeah, don't not isn't entirely grammatically correct. But in the end, I hadn't done any good. I'd prioritized my own life over saving Nanami, my little sister. I'd fled at the very brink of things. Indeed you did. To your eternal shame. Kozue stopped in front of Loft. She looked at me as she pointed at the store entrance. Apparently the place she said she'd guide me to was inside here. But where exactly? I didn't think there was anywhere to rest in Loft. Besides, there were a lot of customers in a small enclosed space there. Without my realizing it, my legs had started shaking. The cheers and bellows I'd heard from the pedestrian crossing that night echoed in my head. Another case of trauma. I didn't want to go anywhere that was full of people. I wouldn't have anywhere to escape to if I entered the Loft.
大丈夫だよ。
How can you say that? Disregarding my fear, she went further and further ahead. Doing my best not to look at what lay around us, I had no choice but to hurry on after her. When we got on the upward elevator, Kozue turned back to me, standing behind her. With her small frame standing one step higher, put her at about the same height as me.
ナナミちゃんは助かったんだよね。だったら西条くんが頑張ったおかげだよ。
Well, we have yet to actually speak with Nanami since that ordeal. So I wonder. I hadn't saved her myself. It was the same as if I hadn't done anything.
屋上から手を伸ばしてたよね。何をしようとしたの？ビョーンって飛ぼうとしたのかな？
Something like that. No. I was trying to take hold of the sword. It was an illusionary sword, one that blended into the vista I saw from the rooftop.
リゾード？
Yeah, that's it. He said I could grasp it if I reached out, but I couldn't do it. Wait.
なんで
I unthinkingly shouted. Yeah, you didn't just pluck that from his head. Kozue Orihara knows what a D-sword is, and that little puzzle piece might explain a few things. A couple passing on the downward elevator gave me cold looks, and I hurriedly covered my mouth with my hand. Kozue, how do you know about D-swords?
コズピーも持っているもん。
Of course you do. And that would make you a so-called gigalomaniac, which would explain your powers, and probably also explain what happened to those 3 unfortunate delinquents. When we got off the escalator at the 5th floor, Kozue casually raised her right hand over her head. It was similar to the gesture of someone using her hand to create a shadow as protection against the brightness of the sun. Light suddenly materialized in the air, following her hand. No, more than simple light. They were lines. If I had a way to make an analogy, they resembled a wireframe. Numerous lines of light intermingled intricately in the space where there should have been nothing, and at last they formed a shape akin to that of a snowboard. Several streaks of blue light, more fiercely brilliant than the wireframe lines, ran across it. Kozue closed her open hand. And there it is. The instant she did, the thing that had been a wireframe transformed to a solid, cold semi-metal plank, as though textures had been applied to it. There is Kozue Orihara's D-sword, different from Ayase's, different from Senna's as well, both in its shape and style, and also in the way in which she manifested it.
ディソード
Its shape was all too separate from that of Ayase's and Senna's. But even so, it had the same sort of air to it. And Takumi's nerves are once again going into overdrive, which means it's time to end this episode of Let's Play ChäoS. And when we return, yeah, Takumi's reaction is definitely going to go somewhere, if anywhere. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.